Hello everyone, this is Mridul Kumar Pandey and in this video we are going to cover current affairs from 25th of July to 31st of July 2021. And from now onwards, I will cover current affairs like this only. 3 or 4 or 5 days current affairs all at a time. It will save mine and your times as well. Okay? I will be uploading all the notes from which I will be teaching you the current affairs in the description box. You can download it directly from there. And date wise, I will be adding some points there in the video. You can directly reach to that point only in the playlist. I will make it on playlist basis. Okay, so now let's start with the news of 25th of July 2021. It's 25th and 26th of July 2021. Okay, the first news is about the center's list of 13-point agenda for safety of women, kids and SCs and STs. See what happened. According to a report from Bachpan Bachao Andolan, you can see here. Third point number 3, Bachpan Bachao Andolan. It's an NGO of Kailash Satyarthi. Around 9,000 children were trafficked during COVID-19 period. Okay. And according to the report of NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau, crime against women and scheduled caste increased up to 7.3% from 2018 to 19. Like the financial year 2018-19, the crime against women and scheduled caste increased up to 7.3%. 9,000 children trafficked during the period of COVID-19. So a 13-point agenda they have now, one of which is about online reporting of sexual abuses. Now Ministry of Women and Child Development have a draft of Trafficking Person Prevention, Care and Rehabilitation Bill 2021. All what that is in this bill we need to know is it is applied to all the citizens. It expanded or widened the definition of victim. Initially the victim according to this bill was only women and children. Now it added transgenders also as a victim. There is a provision for imprisonment up to 20 years or death sentence as well. And investigation should be done within 90 days of period. Now let's cover the second news. It is about the gig economy and women's participation in the gig economy. Gig economy is a kind of contractual work for a period of time, not a permanent nature of work. Okay, so gig economy to boost employment of Indian women in formal sector. It is a study by UNDP India and FICCI. Okay, now the key findings of this study is potential to absorb more women in workforce. This gig economy have the potential to absorb more women in workforce, but the 50% of the jobs in India will require skilling. They need skilling. Some kind of skills are required in 50% of job, and reskilling, need to update or add some more skill, that is reskilling, that is required in 50% of the job, skilling or reskilling. Now boost in use of digital technology. Now there is a boost in use of digital technology. We know this, we experience it on daily basis, right? And increase in women employment there will be further increase in employment of women in these three sectors: healthcare and pharmaceutical sector by 59%, electrical and electronics by 44%, and FMCG by 41%. Okay, third important news, I must say very very important news. It's about Telangana temple gets World Heritage Tag. It is Kakatiya Rudreshwar Ramappa Mandir, Kakatiya Rudreshwar Ramappa Temple of Telangana. It is the 39th World Heritage Site Vishwa Dharohar of India. It is the temple of 1213 AD. When 1213 AD, built by Kakatiya General Rudra during the period of Kakatiya ruler Ganpati Deva. So its name is Rudra. And Ramappa Mandir. Who was Ramappa? Ramappa was the sculpture. Now by the name Rudra, though it was the name of the general, but you can remember that it is the temple of Lord Shiva, who here is called Ramalingeshwar Swami. That is the name of Shiva. Rudra is also the name of Shiva. So to remember it, it is a very easy thing. Ramalingeshwar Swami. Okay, it is a temple of sandstone. Here it is written in the notes. It took 40 years to build this temple. And here I mentioned the sculpture was Ramappa. It took 40 years. Close to a water shore of Ramappa Cheruvu. Ramappa Cheruvu is a water source, kind of a water body around the temple in the radius of 1 kilometer only. Okay. Now Italian merchant Marco Polo, he remarked that this temple was the brightest star of the galaxy of temples. Now let's talk something about Kakatiya. Kakatiya are well known for construction of tank networks for irrigation and drinking. They constructed a lot of tanks for irrigation purpose and drinking purpose. So by the same name we have a Mission Kakatiya. So it is quite clear, obvious, that this Mission Kakatiya is somewhat related to irrigation and drinking water, to restore tanks and irrigation network. Is it clear? To restore tanks and irrigation network. Next important news from the same day is Visa complies with RBI's data localization norms. By the name we can understand it, data localization norm. That means data localization. Localization means in the local area, that is India. So RBI has barred MasterCard, American Express and diners for enrolling new customers for not storing their data in India. Okay, that is RBI barred these companies. Why the RBI barred these companies? Because they are not storing their data in India. Okay, so do we have any provision like that? Yes, we have any provision like that. Data Localization Rule 2018. Here it is mentioned, Data Localization Rule 2018. What is it? It authorizes PSOs. PSOs means Payment System Operators in India. Payment System Operators means like MasterCard, American Express and diners. These all are payment system operators. Okay, so it authorizes these payment system operators in India to ensure the data related to payment systems should be mandatorily stored in India. They cannot store the data related to payment system of India outside the India. Okay, they have to store all these things in the India, and the significance of this is it enhance the safety and security of payment system. It is faster and better access to personal data because it is in India for law enforcement and economic growth and employment. We can take help of the data for also on these things, in these things. Now issues, when we choose to localize these alternatives, we need to have some resources. Maybe the option with high operation cost, this option may prove very costly for us. Okay, next and last news from 25th and 26th of July is Essential Defense Service Bill introduced in Lok Sabha. See, whenever we talk about essential service, any of the essential service, it cannot be stopped because it is essential. It is essential for public, essential for government, essential for country. For example, doctor, medical services, it is a very essential service, right? If they will go on a strike, people start dying. No, so it is essential service. So it replaced Defense Service Ordinance of 2021. Now ordinance, what is ordinance? When our parliament is not in session, it is not running, parliament is not running, during that period, if you need some important law, what we will do, we will directly pass a law from president. He will simply sign and pass the law. But once the parliament is open, within the period of 6 months, we need to pass the law from a very simple method, using very simple method, like the method is for the law. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, majority, and then president's signature. Okay, so it was ordinance that was passed on 30th June 2021. Now we are passing it through the parliamentary process. So it empowers government to prohibit strikes in essential defense services. So government is prohibiting strikes in essential defense services. Okay, to improve efficiency and accountability, it amends Industrial Dispute Act. ID Act means Industrial Dispute Act of 1947 and includes Essential Defense Service. EDS means Essential Defense Services and Public Utility Services. Okay, it includes EDS, Essential Defense Services in Public Utility Services as well, and it levy penalty for illegal strikes. Now strikes are illegal. If you have to do a strike, you have to follow procedure of a strike. It is not that they are completely barred from strikes. There is a proper provision mentioned in ID Act, Industrial Dispute Act. so they have to follow that process of a strike. Okay, so all this for the current affairs or news from 25th and 26th July. Now we'll cover the news of 27th July 2021. The first news is about My Government. My Government is a online thing, online portal kind of thing. You might have visited the Instagram page of MyGov. You can search it on Instagram, MyGov. What you can see there, it creates awareness about the recent plans. It is like kind of government talking to a common citizen. It is a medium of government to talk to common people. Okay, now let's see something about this in detail. My Government, now it is the 7 years. It is of 7 years old. Okay, so 7 years of participatory governance. It is a kind of participatory governance where common people, we the citizens, can participate in governance. How? We can see here. It was launched in 2015, a citizen engagement platform. So it will engage citizens. It seeks public opinion. It seeks public opinion on the issues of welfare, public interests. Timely and authentic information is being provided by this portal. My Government platform, you can be My Government Sathi. How you can be My Government Sathi? By registering your username, and after registering you can give your ideas and suggestions. Now ideas and suggestions related to input for policies directly from citizens. For example, data protection policy and national education policy. We know we had this policy of national education policy of 2020. We have it now. We have data protection policy. So in this policy making, government provided an opportunity to the citizens to share their opinions, share their ideas through this portal by the method I mentioned here. Now the crowdsourcing of logos and taglines, yes, very important. We have seen the Swachh Bharat logo, Digital India logo, their taglines. All these things are given by the common people. They made it like a kind of competition, online competition, that everyone should send their, not everyone, whosoever is feeling like doing so. Anyone who want to send, they can send their logo, they can send their tagline, and the tagline which will be selected, they will get some kind of prize and all this. Okay. So e-governance, government services, online, transparent and convenient. It is making things transparent. Obviously now government is by self accountable. Government itself is making a provision to be accountable to common people through this online medium. So it is bringing transparency in the system. It is convenient, and online method is easily accessible by everybody. Okay, to deliver government services electronically, we have e-Kranti, that is national e-governance plan. So e-Kranti is a very important thing. I have mentioned it in the box. e-Kranti, what is it? National e-governance plan to deliver government services electronically. It empowers, now this whole MyGov system, it empowers the citizens to participate in public decision making. Definitely the decision making is done by the suggestions of public. Okay, and it is a means to tackle the democracy deficiency, the deficiency we had in democracy, the communication gap between us and the government. Government is trying to tackle that deficiency using this portal. Okay, next important news is about heavy rain triggers flood and landslides in Western India. Now if we talk about Western India, we are talking about the southern Western India. When the southern Western India is the area from the border of Gujarat and Maharashtra to Kerala. Okay, so factors for heavy rain in this area, just think it by yourself. There is a mountain range, Western Ghat. So the wind coming from the sea, holding lots of water, the monsoon wind holding lots of water, it will not allow, the mountain range will not allow to pass it from there. The Western Ghats will not allow it to pass. Then there will be heavy rain. The first thing, that is the topography. Okay, the second thing is the slope of the mountain has a direct bearing on the possibility of precipitation. Western Ghats runs parallel to Arabian Sea coast for approx 1600 kilometers. So the coast is from 1600 kilometers from Maharashtra Gujarat border, as I told you, to southern tip of Kerala. So this is again the region. Now three climate changes. Sorry, the third region. I mentioned region 1, region 2 and region 3. Third region is the climate change. As global temperature rises, the moisture handling capacity of atmosphere rises. Warm air, hot air can hold more moisture than cold air, because water evaporates on boiling, no? on heating, not boiling. Water evaporates, it will get converted into air. So warm air, hot air can hold more water in it. Okay, the moisture handling capacity of atmosphere rises by global temperature rise. This moisture results in a stronger convective current. Convective current is the current due to movement of air particles or water particles, heat as a source. Okay, so convective currents in the monsoon season on India's landmass. This is the third region. Now, surface temperature of Arabian Sea has been increasing rapidly over years. The sea, Arabian Sea near these coasts, the temperature is increasing. The surface temperature is increasing over the years. Now, greater the surface temperature of seawater, greater the quantum of moisture added in the path. Greater the moisture, greater will be the rain. So, indiscriminate development, urbanization, why these things are happening? The climate change is happening, this warming of air, like global temperature rise, and this surface temperature rising. All this is happening because of urbanization, other land usage, aerosols. They are likely to contribute to localized heavy rainfall occurrences. Now, impact, it increases the risk of landslides and flash floods. We know this. Cause overflow of dams, drains in urban areas. It impact agriculture also. It has some impact on agriculture. Okay. Next important news is about Assam Mizoram border disputes. We know that Assam and Mizoram shares the boundary of 164.6 kilometer border across the three districts. Now, this region of dispute is the colonial legacy. Mizoram believes that boundaries should be demarcated on the basis of 1875 notification. 1875, Britishers notification. Another notification is also Britishers time, 1913 somewhere. Okay, so Mizoram believes that boundary should be demarcated on the basis of 1875 notification, while Assam agrees with constitutional map drawn under 1933 demarcation. We have two maps, two demarcation, 1875 demarcation, 1933 demarcation. Assam is following the map made under the 1933 demarcation. Mizoram believes the boundary of 1875 demarcation. So this is the problem. Conflict, disputes. Okay. Now, what is the fault actually? Fault of border demarcation. Assam was carved up into Meghalaya, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. Assam was carved into these states, never properly demarcated, unquestionably accepted by all sides. There was always dispute related to this. And as per experts, Assam was hurriedly demarcated without paying much attention to realities on the grounds. See, realities on the grounds are always different from what we see on paper, what we see in news. So this demarcation was done without paying attention on these ground level problems. Okay, until date, we do not have any such mechanism to solve this kind of disputes. So the measures need to be taken to solve this problem. Union government should act as a mediator. We need to find some political solution so that at least the interest of conflict of politicians will not happen, and setting up boundary commission also. Okay. Fourth important news is about Lok Sabha that passes two bills: Factoring Regulation Amendment Bill and National Institutes of Food Technology Entrepreneurship and Management Bill. Factoring, what is factoring? Do you know? I will explain it here. Factoring Regulation Amendment Bill 2020. See here in the black color I have mentioned factoring. Businessman sells its receivables from customers to a third party, that is a factoring company, for immediate realization of funds. I know many of you are not able to understand this. I will explain this factoring business. See, suppose I am a businessman. I am providing X kind of service. Maybe I am providing any kind of services, security guard services to a company. That Y company or X company is paying me rupees 5,000 per month, but they are not paying me that payment as soon as I give them the bills. What happens? They give me the payment after a period of 3 or 4 months, and during that period I face the problem of cash liquidity. And due to Corona, this problem also increased, the cash liquidity problem. but that company will take 3 to 4 months in paying. So I will go to a factoring company. Please understand, I am a businessman. I provided my services to company X. Company X is liable to pay me. I gave them the bill, but they are saying that they will pay me, they will give me the payment after 4 months or 6 months. So during 6 months, I need money, but that company is going to pay me after 6 months. So what I will do, that is my receivable. I am going to receive that payment after 6 months. But again, it is my payment. I will be receiving it. So with that receivable, I go to a company. It is a company known as the factoring company, and that factoring company will pay me the payment that I am supposed to receive from the X company. And now that company, that factoring company, will go to company X and receive its payment after 6 months. So the payment I will be getting, it will not be the full payment. The charges of the company will be deducted and some extra amount will be deducted. Okay? Basically, the overall charges will be deducted, including each and everything, like inflation and all, everything. They will consider everything in their charges. Okay? So this is called factoring. So the Factoring Regulation Amendment Bill, okay, it amends Factoring Regulation Act of 2011 to widen the scope of entities which can engage in factoring business. So if more and more companies can engage in factoring business, what will happen? It will provide an ease to MSMEs in management of funds. Okay, so these amendments are expected to help MSMEs cause of easy access to funds and liquidity. MSMEs are micro, small and medium enterprises. So obviously if they are micro, small and medium enterprises, they will face the issue of cash. It empowers RBI to make regulations. It empowers RBI, underline this, RBI. Okay. Now the second one is National Institution of Food Technology Enterprises and Entrepreneurship and Management Bill. Now what is this National Institute of Food Technology Entrepreneurship and Management Bill? It is very simple. We have some institutes of national importance. Now what are the institutes of national importance? These serves as important player in developing high skilled labor. Okay, so we make NIFTEM, that is National Institute of Food Technology Entrepreneurship Management, and IIFPT. Okay, it is in Jhanjhar, Tamil Nadu, and NIFTEM is in Kundali, Haryana. We made these two institutions as the institute of national importance. Clear? Now next important news is retiring older coal generation assets. It will save 37,750 crore according to the study. Council of Energy, Environment and Water Center for Energy Finance, CEEWCEF, says that retiring older coal generation assets will save around 37,750 crores. How? Let's read. Out of India's total installed capacity of 300 gigawatt, 35 gigawatt of coal-based power plants are more than 25 years old, can be decommissioned on priority. We have power generation plants that use coal as a burning agent. Many of them, like 35 gigawatts, we have total 300 gigawatts of power capacity. Out of them, 35 gigawatt of power capacity power plants are more than 25 years old. And if they are old, they use the old technology. And what the problem is, the old technology, they are creating a lot of pollution. They are adding extra cost of coal. They are consuming more coal. Okay, so let's read the key findings. Closing down the older plants can help reduce the greenhouse gas emission, that means pollution, reduce soil and water pollution, all kind of pollution will be controlled. One-time cost saving of 102 billion rupees to be spent on pollution control retrofits to stay in operation. So 102 billion we are going to save just by doing this, and clearing out stocks of inefficient assets. These are inefficient assets, they are not providing too much profit, so clearing out these stocks would result in more room for investment. Better investments can take place. Investments in renewable energy storage system and upgradation, all these things. Okay, so all this for the current affairs of 27. Now we'll cover the current affairs of 28th July 2021. Now let's start with the news of 28th July 2021. The first news is about House panel for fresh package to help smaller business. When I talk about smaller business, it's clear that it is about MSME sector, that is micro, small and medium sized enterprises. A parliamentary panel on MSME said that a stimulus package that government announced was is inadequate. It is not sufficient for the problems faced by problems MSME sector is facing. The problems and issues that MSME sector is facing are the lack of credit facility, the working capital problem, the problem of low financial resilience, the supply chain disruption problem, and a delayed payment problem. Delayed payment problem is a very important problem, because when suppose I am a service provider or I am a product provider, I manufacture a product or provide a service. I provided the service, I provided the product to my client, but my client is not paying me payment. It is going to pay me after 7 months, 8 months, 10 months, but during this period I will face huge cash crunch. So this is the problem that is being faced by MSME sector. And again, they are facing the problem of lack of credit facility and working capital also. So this is an add-on on above these problems. Okay, and the global recession is the another important problem. Now, what are the recommendations of this parliamentary panel? It says that the economic package government provided for them should be larger. Okay, the study should be conducted on that. Study should be on assessment of the actual loss suffered by MSME sector during this corona period. Okay, it should aim at supporting investment. First thing, investment, exports, employment in MSME sectors, how to generate employment. Okay, and again, the problem I discussed now, the problem of delayed payment. The strict provisions should be there against the delayed payments. And awareness about Udyam registration portal. What is Udyam registration portal? Any MSME sector company should register in Udyam registration panel, so that government will come to know that yes, this is a company from MSME sector. The importance of MSME sector in our economy: it provides 30% of the GDP, it provides 40% of the export, it generates 110 million jobs. And number of MSME sectors in India is, the total number of MSME sector is 6.3 crore. There are 6.3 crore MSME companies. Okay, second important news is about the two laws, about a law of Marine Aid to Navigation Bill 2021. Now, what is Marine Aid to Navigation Bill? We will read about it. Let's read. It replaces the Lighthouse Act of 1927, incorporate global best practices, technology, and India's international obligations under International Convention for Safety of Life at Sea in 1974 and International Association of Marine Aids and Lighthouse Authorities Maritime Buoyage System. What are these? See, these are some of the international foundations or obligations on India. Why they are on obligations? Because India is part of some of the groups in which these obligations are there to be the member of that group. Okay, by this law, India is incorporating the best global practice, best technology. So let's read about the key features of this law. Okay, the definition of aid to navigation on vessels based on modern state of the art technology of marine navigation. Now, what is aid to navigation? Aid to navigation are the devices or equipments that are used to navigate. For example, lighthouse. You might have seen it in the movie, or especially let me tell you an example. You have watched Agnipath movie. There was a big towers with light above it on the top of the tower. In many of the old movies also, there are lighthouse in the top of the tower with a light rotating on the top of the tower. These things are called lighthouse. Why they are installed? For navigation purpose, so that the ships or anything that is coming, they will get the idea of the path, because there is no road in sea. Google Map cannot work there. Okay, maybe it will work in future, but for now, these are the aid to navigations, are the device and equipments that helps in navigation or signal, the pass signal or this. And the state of art is the word that we use for highest level of general development, highest level of anything. So the definition of aid to navigation on vessels based on modern highest level of technology, state of art technology of marine navigation. Okay, first point. Second point in this law is not law, now it is a bill. Appointment of Director General of Aids to Navigation. So there will be a Director General of Aids to Navigation, that is Director General of the equipments that we are used for signaling, and Central Advisory Committee. This committee will advise central government on the matter of aid and navigation. Okay, designate any aid to navigation as heritage lighthouse, helping the old lighthouses and other aid to navigation equipments should be designated as a heritage thing. They will be a kind of cultural importance, they will help in educational purpose, they will help in tourism purpose also. Okay, now the offenses and penalties for intentional obstruction and destruction or damages caused to aid to navigation. All these equipments like lighthouses and other things are destroyed, or buoys, these things are destroyed out of fun only. People used to do this, so offenses and penalties are there. Training and certification for operating these aid to navigation devices or equipments. Okay, so third important news is about capacity building initiative on making water sensitive cities in Ganga basin. Making water sensitive cities in Ganga basin, it is launched by NMCG, National Mission for Clean Ganga. NMCG is Namami Ganga, you know, National Mission for Clean Ganga Association, and it is associated with Center for Science and Environment, CSE. It is mentioned here. Okay, let's read more about it. Water sensitive city. What is water sensitive city? It is based on holistic management of water cycle. That means the best practices to manage water using water cycle, the best practices of management of water cycle, so that to provide the basic services of supply of water, or it can help in sanitation purpose. And the another important things that it is going to do for us is mitigating flood risk. The first. Second is to protect and enhance health of receiving waterways, right? It will be implemented in 3-4 pilot cities in the Ganga basin, and training programs, field visits, webinars and technical supports to urban local bodies are to be provided. Fourth important news is about initiative of Coal India Limited. For that we need to understand there are kind of water pollution we don't know about. It is called siltation. What is siltation? The water pollution caused by soil erosion, and the area where sand mining is done on the banks of river Yamuna, for example in NCR region, on the banks of river Yamuna sand mining is done, and on huge number illegal sand minings are done there. Due to sand minings, soil erodes and get into the water, it pollutes water, and due to this water biodiversity, it is harming water biodiversity, creating water pollution. So this is called siltation, you can say, right? Siltation is happening because of illegal sand mining there. So this is about the, all this initiative is related to that only. The initiative of Coal India Limited. No, Coal India is the company. It has nothing to do with reefers. How it is going to help? Let's read it. What it will do? It is out of the box initiative, very like brilliant initiative of Coal India Limited. What it will do? It will use overburdens to fill the gap. Which gap? Gap caused by mining of sand. Okay, when huge machines will mine the sand from a region, there will be a gap. So the overburdens from these coal factories will be filled in that. Now what is overburden? It is the upper layer of coal, the substance from which coal is extracted. The upper layer, that is totally useless for the Coal India Limited. So what Coal India Limited will do, and this upper layer is very it is rich in silica, it is made up of clay and alluvial sand and sandstone. So what they will do, they will dump all this overburden in the open area from where the sand is already mined, the empty area, the empty space, to fill the gap caused by sand mining. So see here it is written, overburden is a strata or layer above the coal seam. Okay, it is rich in clay, not rich in clay, it is made up of I'm correcting it here, it is made up of clay, alluvial sand and sandstone and sandstone, and it is rich in silica. Okay, overburden is removed to extract coal. As I told you, overburden is removed to extract coal and then backfilled to reclaim land on its original shape, so that land will come into its original shape. There will be no structure like sand is being digged out of the area. United Nations Environment Pollution ranked India and China as top 2 countries globally where illegal sand mining has become a major environment problems. Okay, and it is not pollution, it is program. Extraction of sand leads to flooding, pollution, lowering of water aquifers. As I told you, water pollution and killing of water, destruction of water diversity, frequent droughts and all. A very important news, the 5th news is about Dholavira in Gujarat. Dholavira is a place in Gujarat. Actually, it was the city, not only city, you can say metropolis city of Indus Valley civilization. We all have read about Indus Valley civilization in history, right? So Dholavira is the city in Gujarat in the run of Kutch wala area. So the Kutch area of Gujarat, Dholavira, it is now in UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Okay, and it is the 40th World Heritage Site of India, and the first site of Indus Valley civilization from India to be in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is a fortified city and a cemetery. When I am saying fortified, there is a concept of citadel, CITADEL. What is citadel? You might have watched the movie of Mohenjo-daro. The rich and privileged people used to live in a higher area, or you can say a killa kind of area, fortified area, like the king personals, the top ministers, sipahis, some high rank sipahis there. They used to live in the citadel. That area is called citadel, and common people live in an outer area. So the structure was same in Dholavira also. So it was fortified, and the cemetery was commercial hub and manufacturing hub for about 1500 years before its decline, and it is a hub for copper metallurgy. Copper metallurgy was done there. From 2000 BC, aridity caused climate change, and river like Saraswati, many rivers were there, and for example Saraswati, they dried up. People migrated towards Ganga's valley or towards south of Gujarat, so in the south of Gujarat it is Maharashtra. Okay, now the exclusive use of stone was there in the construction. Fortified citadel was there, as I told you, fortified citadel, middle town and lower town. The concept of fortified citadel for upper class people, middle class people it is a middle town, and for lower town is for lower class people. Okay, and the walls were made up of sandstones and limestone instead of mud and bricks like other Harappan civilization cities. Remains of 2 open air stadiums were is still present there, and it is the 40th site from India and 4th from Gujarat in World Heritage List. And India, Italy, Spain, Germany and China, France have 40 or 40 plus World Heritage sites. Okay, now we will discuss about IMF slashes India's financial year GDP outlook from 12.5%. Initially it said that India's GDP will be like 12.5%, but this was its estimation in April, but now it reduced its estimation to 9.5%. Now gross debt to GDP ratio is estimated to rise to 90.1% from 89.4% in financial year 2021. Now debt to GDP ratio, the lower it is, the good it is for economy, but here we can see that it will increase, so it is problem. Now what is Ganymede? It is the largest moon of solar system, and it is the moon of Jupiter. Now NASA's Hubble Space Telescope found that presence of water there, and it have more water than Earth's surface, but it is in solid or frozen state, you can say, because of the cold temperature in Jupiter, because Jupiter is very far from Sun. We have Mars after Earth, then Jupiter, so it is far from Sun. Okay, Now let's cover the current affairs of 29th July, 30th July and 31st July. Okay. So now we will start with the news of 29th July 2021. So the news is about Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code IBC, that is amendment bill passed in Lok Sabha. So it actually replaces a ordinance that was passed this year only, Ordinance 2021 on the same thing, Bankruptcy Code, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So what is actually this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code? Let's read about it. Envisages the resolution of the debt of a distressed company through a direct agreement between secured creditors and existing owners or outside investor. Now what is this? Under this framework, a debtor initiates and participates in the resolution proceeding with lender through an informal process. Okay, like once the promoter of the company and the creditor agrees on a resolution plan, then they can approach National Company of Law Tribunal. And what this National Company of Law Tribunal does, this National Company, NCLT, National Company of Law Tribunal, carry out the bidding process, insolvency process. Okay, let's suppose an MSME company that has not made its payment obligation of rupees 10 lakh. It can initiate this scheme with the approval of lender that have advance of around 66% of the debt. Now till now, what is happening? Like we have CIRP model. An insolvent borrower can directly go to bankruptcy court. He is taken to bankruptcy court by the creditor actually for a time bound resolution, and this whole process actually allows, CIRP process allows other entities to bid for the stressed entity. Now what will happen? And NCLT do this. Okay, now under this pre-packaged model, PIRP, pre-packaged insolvency resolution model, the stressed borrower can prepare a resolution plan with creditors of the company, and this will help. He will prepare the plan for the selling of the company only, but what it will help, they will do this before approaching to NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, and the borrower retains management control of the company until the resolution is decided. So this is the benefit, that the borrower will retain the management control of the company until the resolution is decided. Okay, key features: minimum threshold of not more than ₹1 crore for initiating PIRP, pre-packaged insolvency resolution process for MSME, and punishment for the offences related to PIRP is mentioned here. Now another news is about CBAM, that is Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. See, European Union is having a very ambitious target of reducing 55% of carbon emission as compared to what they were emitting in 1990s, and they will do this by target year 2030. So now they are imposing carbon border tax on imported goods from 2026. Now what is this carbon border tax? It is a tax on carbon emission imposed on imported goods from countries with less strict climate policies. Let me explain this point. They are charging extra tax on the company having less strict climate policies for the products emitting carbon. Suppose any country of European Union is importing a material X from India. Now India is not having a strict climate policy. Okay, so they will charge an extra tax on that product, on the import of that product, and that tax is known as carbon border tax. But if they will import same good from USA or any developed country that have a strict climate policy, then they will not charge that extra carbon border tax on that product. So what will be the result of this? The price of the Indian material in European market will rise, and that will lead to the less demand, shrink of demand. So that's why opposition from India and other developing countries can be seen. CBAM is discriminatory. It is discriminating, and price will go high and will shrink demand. This is the problem. Why we are against this? Another reason is that it goes against the UN principle, United Nations principle. There is a principle of common but differentiated responsibility and respective capability. That means richer and developed countries should provide financial and technical assistance to developing countries. So these are the two reasons why we, the developing countries, are opposing this carbon border tax on imported goods. Okay. The next news is about Union Agriculture Minister addresses pre-summit of United Nations Food System Summit 2021. What is this UN Food System Summit? For that we need to first understand Food System Summit. You can see here it is encircled, that the activities involved in producing, processing, transporting and consuming food. So what are the activities involved? Producing, agriculture; processing, the processing industries; transporting, the transportation industries; and consuming food, that is the end market, from where the consumer directly buy the product and consume the food. Okay, so this whole chain of system, or the collection of this system, combination of this system, is called food system. So UN Food System Summit aims to launch bold new actions to deliver progress on all 17 sustainable development goals, each of which relies on healthier, more sustainable and equitable food system. So the main aim is to have healthier, more sustainable and equitable food system. Okay, our agriculture minister emphasized on the importance of agriculture in sustainable development goal we have for 2030 year, as 12 out of the 17 goals we have are directly or indirectly related to agriculture. Okay, now what are the measures we have taken for this sustainable agriculture? Per drop more crop. This is a very ambitious irrigation scheme of our government. Under this scheme, they are providing facility of directly providing water, drop by drop water, to the root of the plant. This will save water ultimately and bring on efficiency, like the productivity is very good. It is noticed that productivity is very good in providing water drop by drop directly to the root of the crop, and it will save huge amount of water. And in India we face lots of challenges related to irrigation. We are basically practicing monsoon based agriculture, right? So we have problem in irrigation. So that can be solved by expanding this program, this scheme, that is per drop more crop. The another scheme of our government is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. It emphasizes on organic farming. And why we need organic farming? To maintain the fertility of the soil, to stop the desertification of our fertile soil. We are seeing our fertile land slowly and gradually desertifying because of excessive use of fertilizers and not using them in proper ratio, recommended ratio. So again, to use the fertilizers in recommended ratio, we have soil health card scheme, the third scheme here. What we will do in soil health card scheme? The health card of soil will be prepared according to the areas, different areas, and farmers will be recommended according to the health card of the soil how to use fertilizers in what ratio. Okay, the next scheme is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. This is directly insurance on the crop. Okay, and there are various other schemes like PM Kisan scheme, Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme, Agricultural Infrastructure Fund, formation of 10,000 farmer production organizations. All these schemes are okay. Next news is about drink from tap Sujal mission, that is in Puri, Odisha. Puri, one important thing, the previous news, the summit we were talking about, it happened in, where it happened in Rome. Okay, it was in Rome. Now news from drink from tap Sujal mission, Puri, Odisha. Puri, Odisha is the first city in the country to have drink from tap facility on 24-hour basis under Sujal mission, launched in 2020. So what is important? Sujal mission is important. What is this drink from tap facility? Many of the taps are installed in the city so that they will cover overall the whole city, from which drinking water can easily from which drinking water is accessible. Okay, it is to ensure quality tap drinking water, and it is the first Indian urban area to provide this kind of facility. Next news is about Cabinet approves two bills and Parliament passes one bill of juvenile justice. So let's discuss about these three bills. DICGC Bill 2021, LLP Act 2021, Parliament passes juvenile justice. Okay, so DICGC, first talk about this. This is Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation Bill. Now let's without reading anything, try to guess what it is about. Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation Bill. So deposit insurance, it is the insurance on the deposit. Insurance on the deposit. What kind of deposits we are doing in bank? Saving deposit, fixed deposit, recurring deposits, current account deposits, right? So now we will read. that fully owned, it is a fully owned subsidiary of RBI. Okay, this is important. It is a fully owned subsidiary of RBI. It provides insurance on bank deposits like saving fixed that we just talked about. Highlights: it amends the Act of 1961, provides funds up to rupees 5 lakh within 90 days. Initially it was 1 lakh. Okay, 90 days of bank coming under moratorium. It permits raising insurance premium. Insurance premium can be raised by the companies up to 20 immediately by 20%, and over a period of time they can raise it up to by maximum of 50%, because the amount is also increased up to 5 lakh, which was initially rupees 1 lakh. Okay, now let's talk about the second bill, LLP, Limited Liability Partnership Bill. Again, from the name it is very clear, it is talking about the limited liability. Where the limited liability? In partnership. Where we do partnership? In business. So liability of a partner in any business is limited to their aggregate contribution in LLP. Okay, and regulated by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and it amends the LLP Act of 2008 and decriminalized 12 offences under the law, and they are doing this to enhance the ease of doing business. Third bill is about Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Amendment Bill 2021. It amends the Act of 2015. Okay, let's see what is it, this bill. It is the amendment in the line of UN Convention on Rights of Children, UN Rules for Administration of Juvenile Justice, Binging Rule, and Hague Convention 1993. So on the basis of this amendment is done. Okay, now instead of courts, now district magistrates, IS officers can now issue orders both for intra-country and inter-country adoption, and to fast track the process. The second is, it defines eligibility parameters for the appointment of member of CWC, Child Welfare Committees. So it defines the eligibility criteria for that, and it redefines the serious offences. The term serious offences is redefined now in the bill. All offences under the Act will be tried under children's court, not in the normal court. Okay. So now we will see, privileges and immunities are not gateways for MPs and MLAs to claim exemption from general law of land, says Supreme Court. What happened recently? Vandalism inside the assembly during the budget presentation in March 2015 by our respected ministers of Kerala. So Supreme Court says that MLAs and MPs shall only possess such privileges that are essential for undertaking their legislative functions, not to misuse the power, not to misuse these privileges. So if they are doing this, there will be no exemption from general law of the land. They will not be exempted from it. Okay. So Supreme Court rejected Kerala government's plea to withdraw prosecution against 6 MLAs under IPC and Prevention of Damage to Public Property Act, because it is public property, not their personal property, not their hereditary property. So how can they vandalize things inside the assembly, right? So next news is about Earth Overshoot Day. This is very important, I am telling you. What is Earth Overshoot Day? Let's read about it. Date when humanity's demand for ecological resources and services in a given year exceeds what Earth can regenerate in a year. Let me explain you this in a very simple language. Suppose we are emitting 100 units of carbon. Let's say 100 units of carbon are being emitted by India. And what India is doing afforestation and many other things to balance that 100 unit of carbon. So now if we talk about the whole Earth, some X amount of carbon is emitted, and some out of that X amount, some amount of the carbon will be balanced by Earth. Okay, that is called the regenerate thing. The resource that we exploited, that is being regenerated by the Earth. Okay, now we will read the statement and we will try to understand this. The date when humanity's demand for ecological resources and services in a given year exceeds what Earth can regenerate in the year. So Earth can balance whatever Earth is producing, generating the resources. We exploited all the resources, oxygen and carbon. We produced enough of the carbon. If we are producing the carbon, that means we are exploiting the resource. So we produced enough of the carbon that can be balanced by our earth in 2021 by the date 29th July 2021. Last year it was on 22nd August, and in 2019 it was on 29th July. So why we reached to this pre-2020 trend? On 22nd August 2020, we took 1 month extra, because almost 1 month extra, not 1 month exactly. We took this time because of corona. We were emitting less carbon. Now we are again on the pre-2020 trend because of increased deforestation of Amazon's rainforest, increased carbon dioxide emission by energy sector. So all these are the problem. Okay, and this is hosted and calculated by Global Footprint Network. Okay, now we'll talk about gold ore resources in India, reserves in India. In India we have around 501.83 million tons of gold ore, and this record is presented by National Mineral Inventory data under the Indian Bureau of Mines. So it is saying that India has 501.83 million tons of gold ore reserves. That is largest reserve we have in Bihar, that is 44%, then in Rajasthan 25%, then in Karnataka 21%, West Bengal 3%, Andhra Pradesh 3%, and Jharkhand 2%. Now we will just read about World Heritage Site. Just to know things, in World Heritage Site we have added some of the natural sites and some of the cultural sites. In natural sites we have added 4 islands of Japan, mountain ridges part of Thailand, and coastal areas of geodiversity in South Korea, and the corridor along the Georgia eastern coast of Black Sea. Black Sea is like in between the Soviet Union. Okay, and if we will talk about the cultural sites, Dutch water defense line, then colonies of benevolence in Belgium and Netherlands, and in Turkey also, that is Ars Lanteb Mount Archaeological in Turkey. So all these for the news of 29 July 2021. Now we will cover the news of 30th July 2021. So now we will cover the news of 30th July, right? India's 14 tiger reserves set global standards in tiger reservation. Out of 51 tiger reserves in India, 14 in India are now announced as CATS, that is Conservation Assured Tiger Standards. This is the global standard of tiger preservation, tiger reserves. Okay. Now if we talk about this global standard, it was launched in 2013 and implemented across 125 sites. Out of the 125 sites, 94 are in India, and the target is to double the tigers population 4 years ahead of the St. Petersburg declaration that was in 2010. The IUCN status of tiger is endangered, and number of tigers in India is highest in Madhya Pradesh, followed by Karnataka, followed by Uttarakhand. Highest in Madhya Pradesh, then in Karnataka, then in Uttarakhand. Now we will talk about the national education policy, the revolutionary policy of our government of India to revolutionize the education system in India. So now what are our targets for now? 100% gross enrollment ratio by 2030 in school, 50% of gross enrollment ratio in higher education by 2030, and mother tongue to be the medium of instruction till class 5th. Now the initiatives launched under this new education policies are academic bank credit, that is the multiple entry and exit options provided to in higher education. Then Vidya Pravesh, it is a preparatory school for 3 months duration before grade 1. Indian science and language as a subject of secondary in secondary system as a secondary language. Okay, and Nishtha 2.0. Nishtha 2.0 is a program of teachers training program, kind of teachers training program that is being prepared by NCERT. SAFAL is the another initiative. SAFAL means structural assessment for analyzing learning levels. So this is a kind of assessment that is way more different than our normal examination system, that is totally based on the theoretical concepts. We will be adding the practical scenarios, practical type of questions in this SAFAL method. Okay, National Digital Education, that architecture. So from the name it is very clear, this program aims at strengthening the digital education infrastructure in India. The next one is National Education Technology Forum. If we're talking about technology, that means the integration of technology in our education system. We're talking about this. And the last initiative is the first year engineering program should be provided in 5 Indian languages, that is Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Marathi and Bangla. Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, HTTP MB, okay? Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Maratha, Bangla. You can remember it in any of the way you can. Another important thing is that the light is detected behind the black hole, X-ray lights. Till date, it is an addition to addition to what we have till now, that is the prediction of Einstein. What was the prediction of Einstein about black hole? We all know about it, that it is a celestial astronomical object with a high gravity that even don't allows light to reflect, light to get out of it. Okay, this is the Einstein's prediction. Now this light detected behind the black hole, we will read about it. The first time astronomers detected X-ray radiation originating from behind a black hole deep in the space. Okay, behind Einstein's prediction, X-ray echoes contains information about what is happening around black hole. Black holes are astronomical objects with high gravity that does not even allow light to escape. Size is as small as an atom to black holes with mass more than millions of sun. Black holes are of basically 4 types: miniature, intermediate mass, stellar and supermassive. Okay, so all this about the black hole thing. Now the new bills we are going to discuss about are Inland Vessel Bill 2021 and the another news is about Airport Economic Regulatory Authority of India Amendment Bill 2021. So let's talk about Inland Vessel Bill. With about 0.5% modal share of inland waterways transportation in India, bill strengthens procedure governing the inland. It is the bill to govern inland transportation of vessels and all these things, right? Now in India we are using very less amount of we are using or utilizing very less waterways, inland waterways transportation. In India, it is around 0.5%. As compared to China, it is 8.7%, and as compared to Netherlands, where it is 42%. So there is benefit. There are lots of benefit in shifting to inland waterways, like less consumption of power, less pollution, more efficient, less cost. All these things are involved in inland waterways system instead of moving through road or railways, transporting things from road and railways. Okay, now the provisions under this bill is bills are periodic survey, so that the government will prescribe classifications, standards and design, etc. Okay, mandatory certification of survey, registration and insurance policy for vessels before operation, navigation and safety standards. This is important, that navigation safety standards and pollution standards are set. Now government will maintain e-database. This is also important, e-database for inland vessels. It will contain all the information. We have discussed this before also when this bill was firstly introduced. Okay, this month only, 5-6 days back, we discussed this news. The second bill is about Airport Economic Regulatory Authority of India Amendment Bill 2021, that is AMERA. It regulates tariffs and charges for aeronautic services. Okay, the key provisions are: it extends the definition of major airports, and this bill seeks to group profitable airports with non-profitable airports. There are many big airports and there are many small airports, so it will group them together. Okay, now DRIP Index 2002. This is another news. I have added it here in the box. DRIP Index 2002. What is this DRIP Index? The gauge of impact of monsoon on agriculture. It basically measures the negative impact. Okay, higher the CRISIL DRIP score, adverse is the impact on agriculture. We need to know about this only. DRIP full form is deficient rainfall impact parameter. From the name it is also clear. So the another important news is about OBC and economically weaker sections get quotas under All India Quotas scheme for medical courses. We all know 27% OBC reservation, 10% economically weaker section reservation on undergraduate and postgraduate in states and state-run medical and dental colleges. This is not important in this news. The important thing in this news that we need to read about is Article 15 Clause 5. That is 27% of OBC and SCs and STs reservation are mentioned in Article 15 Clause 5, because it is not actually mentioning OBC and SCs and STs. Article 15 Clause 5 talks about reservation on the basis of social and educational backwardness, not financial. We all have a conception that if the reservation is there, it is because someone is poor. No, that is Article 15 Clause 6. Article 15 Clause 5, that is providing reservation to OBCs, SCs and STs. It talks about social and educational backwardness. They are socially backward. People from general category over a period of time have not allowed them to be equal to a general people, a person from general category, because they are practicing discriminatory policies, they are practicing untouchabilities, they are practicing various malpractices they were doing. To eradicate all these things, to bring these people into mainstream who are left behind because of the bad practices we had in our past. So this talks about social backwardness and educational backwardness. They are very less educated. The people from these communities, OBCs, SCs and STs, they are very less educated, irrespective of the development going in the country. They are not going to getting any benefit out of it. They are still uneducated. So that's why they are provided with educational and social, provided with instrument known as reservation to tackle this problem of social and educational backwardness. Now Article 15 Clause 6 talks about the reservation on the basis of financial backwardness, and that gives the reservation for 10% to economically weaker section of the society. Okay. Now let's cover the new 6, RTGS and NEFT. RTGS is real-time gross settlement. NEFT is National Electronic Fund Transfer. Okay. Now these things are open for non-banks also. They will be provided with IFSC. We all know the IFSC, right? So non-banks will be provided with this IFSC, that is Indian Financial System Code, and current account will be opened with RBI. Please notice this. The current account will be opened. Every company have their current account, but their current account will be opened with RBI, Reserve Bank of India, and another settlement account also will be opened with RBI. So this is important. The advantage of this, providing them the facility of non-bank facility to non-banks about this central payment scheme, NEFT and RTGS facility, that is reduction in cost of payment, minimizing dependency on non-banks, reduction in time, and better risk management settlement. Okay. So now we will just know about metaverse. What is metaverse? It is a virtual reality, augmented reality. It is like related to both the things, virtual reality and augmented reality. We all know about virtual reality. If you will go to any mall, there will be a virtual reality game. You will wear a glass and goggles kind of thing. You will not see anything outside. They will provide you earphone for sound effect, and you'll feel like you're falling from somewhere. You are riding a car or maybe anything. They can make you feel it like real. You will start shouting. You will reacting like you're literally enjoying all these things. So this is virtual reality. And augmented reality is similar to virtual reality but not exactly like virtual reality. If you want to know about all these things, just Google it, because some things cannot be explained by a person, right? It is a thing to experience. So metaverse is closely related to augmented reality and virtual reality, and it is developed by Google, Apple, Amazon and Microsoft in addition with Facebook, and it describes future iteration of internet. Roblox is a game that is the example of metaverse. You can Google about it. Okay. Now the news of 31st July 2021, that is Commission for AQ Management, that is Air Quality Management in NCR and adjoining areas Bill 2021. From the name it is very clear for what purpose it is. For air quality management, we know that the air pollution is the very big problem in Delhi. Delhi is the world's most polluted capital city of any country. Okay. So it is to replace the ordinance related to this that we passed initially, just like any other bill. Okay. And the adjacent area of Delhi, that is NCR area, lots of construction is going on, first thing, that is creating pollution. Now the adjacent areas of NCR, not the adjacent area of Delhi, that is Haryana, UP, Punjab, Rajasthan, these are the nearby areas of Delhi. Okay, these are also creating lots of pollution by subtle burning, crop subtle burning, right? So to tackle the menace of toxic air, 3 committees to recommend on this air pollution, that is CAQM, Air Quality Management Committee on Air Quality Commission of Air Quality Management, and stubble burning. Now Delhi is the most populated, we know this. We need 65% reduction to meet national standard of PM 2.5. We have national standard of PM 2.5. To meet that standard, Delhi need to reduce 65% of its air pollution. PM 2.5 is the particle size of pollutant size. Okay. Now Indigo is, second news is about Indigo is the first airline to release environment, social and governance. What is this ESG, environment, social and governance? See, SEBI has notified inclusion of ESG reporting. Now these corporates have to report. Which corporates have to report? Top 1000 corporates of India, top thousands on the basis of their market capitalization, market cap. So top 1000 companies of India now have to do their ESG reporting. But from 2020, for 2021 and 22, it is not compulsory, it is voluntarily, but from next year, 2022 and 23, it will be a compulsory, mandatory thing. Okay, BRSR system, BSAR, you know the full form here, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. Under this, ESG is also. What is ESG? That is under BRSR, Environment, Social and Corporate Governance. In environment field, we have to disclose the resource usage, air emission, waste management compliances we are practicing, the company is practicing. In social thing, we need to disclose about employees related information, community related information, and consumers related disclosure. And in corporate governance, you need to disclose about role of the board of sustainability. What is their role? What are they doing? The conduct related to disclosures, all these things. Okay. Next news about India-US Renew Global Development Partnership deal for 5 years. This is the simple agreement that provides for jointly offering assistance to their partner companies, India and US partner companies. Okay. Now the bills we have in Parliament, again we have to discuss it. The General Insurance Business Nationalization Amendment Bill, and another one is Coconut Development Board Amendment Bill 2021. General Insurance Business Amendment Bill of 1972. It amended the bill of 1972. It allows government to bring down shareholding below 51% and make directors liable only for the act of omission and commission committed. Significantly, government will take up 2 public sector banks and 1 general insurance company for privatization in 2022. See, government have target to privatize many of its organizations, many of its companies. Why? Because they are already in loss or distress. So instead of keeping them as a burden or liability, government should privatize them. But while privatizing things, government need to take care of the things. Instead of going on the bidding amount, they should also look at the things that which company is going to provide some social service along with the function of running the company. Who are going to take up the developmental work near the area along with the company operations also. Government need to include all these things into their consideration process. Okay. So now all this for the bill of General Insurance Business Amendment Bill. Now the another bill is related to Coconut Development Board Amendment Bill 2021. Its objective is to bring more and more area under coconut cultivation, and members of board from 4 to 6. There will be 4 to 6 members in the board, and CDB is a statutory body. Coconut Development Board is a statutory body that is made by any law. Okay, and Minister of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare is looking after it. Next important news is about National Art Museum of Australia to return 14 artworks to India. These are the religious and cultural artifacts. The religious and cultural artifacts are from 12th century of Chola dynasty and from Jain shrines, architecture of Jain shrines also we have. Now we will read something about Chola dynasty. It was founded by Vijayalaya. Okay, the important ruler is Rajendra Chola, and period of Cholas are well known for its metal sculpture. Example, Nataraj Shiv sculpture. Okay. Now we will talk about Indra. What is Indra? From the name it is clear, IND and RA for Russia, India and Russia joint military exercise that is held in Volgograd, Russia in Baltic Sea. Baltic Sea. And we'll read about CORPET. CORPET is India Indonesia Navy Coordinate Patrol, okay, in the Indo-Pacific region. Next news we need to know about is MP plans DNA profiling of leopard to help trace crime against leopards. And Intel IT company Intel with CBSE and Ministry of Education is going for an initiative for basic understanding of artificial intelligence to everyone. So what is artificial intelligence? The technology by which any machine behaves like an intelligent human being. For example, machine play chess with you, your computer, your mobile can play chess with you, they can play games with you. This is artificial intelligence. When a machine behaves as intelligent as a human being, this technology is known as artificial intelligence. Okay, we had all the permutations and combinations in the coding of things, like all the possibilities we add there. Okay, so I believe all this only for the news of 31st of July 2021. So now we have covered all the topics for this week. If you will face any problem related to any of the topic, feel free to write in the comment box, and you can share the video with your friends if you feel that it is going to benefit you. Thank you.